Profile cut number 2. Round layers, choppy textured. Skills development would include point cutting, razor cutting, twist cutting, slice cutting and slide cutting. The principle of this haircut is much the same as your first profile cut. We are aiming to put the blockhead into our section pattern and our zones to ensure that you can work comfortably throughout. At some stage, when you do become very confident with your cutting, putting it into zones may not be required. We are working through using a 90-degree angle, a layered effect. Using a layered effect and a 90-degree angle will ensure that you will have even weight distribution throughout the haircut. We are using a point cutting technique. This is to create a very choppy textured look. We are going to introduce the razor to also break the hair up into a choppy textured effect and creating separation. The razor is only really advised to be used on thick, good condition hair. The razor will take out small elements of hair and give it some separation. Gather the hair with great tension and use your razor through the mid-length and ends only. Do not cut too close to the roots, as this will create short areas and they can become uncontrollable. Gather the hair, good tension, and your razor is used just through the mid-length and ends. Your razor should be quite parallel with the hair, and then you literally slide the razor through the mid-length and ends to reduce the bulk and the weight. Holding the razor is going to be individual to you as a barber, and therefore try different techniques to ensure that you have got good control and a comfortable experience. Be careful when using a razor that the safety guard is on correctly, and keep an eye on it at all times to ensure your health and safety is covered. Remove small amounts of hair through the perimeter or the baseline at the bottom of the haircut to again complement the texture and create some softness. At this stage, the haircut is also very visual. You can look at the weight distribution and reduce that as and when you feel necessary. You can also pick up simple strands and just remove excess where you believe there could be a little bit too much weight. Visually check the haircut, move the haircut around and check that it looks balanced and even. Using your guideline from below, work through the back quarters in the same principle, creating an even weight distribution. 90 degrees, good tension and point cutting. Keeping the hair wet throughout this haircut will ensure good control. When point cutting, try hard not to cut your fingers and use your excess fingers as a slight guide to create balance. Position your comb under your thumb, but ensure that you've got good visual access to the actual guide that you've created. Pivot all the way around the head, parallel. This will help to create good control. Check for balance, check for even weight distribution, and then slide cut through the hair just to help to create separation and texture. A similar effect is created by using either slide cutting or the razor Remove some excess bulk around the back of the crown again by sliding your razor through the mid-length and ends to create separation and texture. Still, good tension, good control. Repeat this process, pivoting all the way around the back of the head. Blend into the bottom sections if necessary and continue around the second quarter. As you're working through, ensure that you're cleaning your razor, removing excess hair. This will help the cutting process to be a much smoother effect. Check for balance, visually check, and if you can see any weight that you would like to remove, either slice cut or razor cut. Connect the sides using the back guideline that's been created, point cut for softness, blend into the bottom aspect of the haircut if required, and move forward to the front hairline. Staying true to a 90-degree angle, using good tension to help create a balanced, even effect. It would be your choice if you wish to over-direct the sides slightly to maintain a little bit more length. However, this will be negotiated with your customer throughout the consultation. Pinch the hair together, slide cut through the mid-length and ends, and just check for softness. Repeat the process on the right hand side of the head, point cutting, ensure you comb the hair several times to create good tension throughout the haircut. Work just back to behind the back of the ear, blend in to the bottom section if required, and check for balance. Connect across the top of the crown to ensure you can create a guideline for the top. Find your guideline from just below the back of the crown, connect using the point cutting technique. Pivot around the back of the crown, pulling up, checking for guides, and connect. Repeat on the opposite area. At this stage, check for balance, and then if you're happy, you can move through to the top of the haircut. At this stage, we are now looking at creating a rounded effect. Take a small amount of hair above the crown, check for a guide from the back of the crown that you've just created, and point cut through to remove the length and create softness. Slice cut to break into the mid-length and ends and also maintain softness and create texture. At this stage now, we're going to create a rounded layered look, so we are looking at connecting the top and the sides. We will use a shortest point to shortest point principle, so comb the hair up, shortest point from the top that you've connected and shortest point from the side that you have already cut, and remove whatever is in the center area. Point cut the weight out, and you are now creating a much more of a rounded layered look. Continue to slice cut to break into the hair and create that much needed separation and texture. Continue this process throughout the top part of the haircut. Pull up in the center, point cut the length, slice cut the length, bend across the curvature of the head, connect an area from the side that you have already cut, and connect with the top section. Check that you are pulling the hair out at the same angle on both sides. You are now creating a rounded, layered effect. You will be removing the weight around the curvature of the top part of the head, creating much more volume. Pull up, point cut, slice cut, and work for your connection point. Shortest point to shortest point, and remove the excess in the centre part of that section. Slice cut out. Continue that process throughout the top part of the head. Methodical working will ensure that you keep a pattern and your balance will be even throughout the haircut. At this stage we will start to over direct the fringe area, as this needs to be kept for maximum length around the front aspect. You can just start to see the over direction process happening, pulling back by at least 2 inches. This will maintain the length throughout the part of the haircut at the front. Slice cut for more softness around the front area, but maintain that over direction. The fringe then will maintain length for this particular haircut. We introduce a twist cutting technique where you will just randomly grab small amounts of hair, twist it and remove the length and texture through the mid-length and ends. Do this carefully, as it can be sometimes uncomfortable for the customer, and if you're not careful you could just end up cutting too much hair. Control that method of cutting, and it is again to complement the texture. Small amounts of hair will be introduced and therefore creating a much more support around the crown area. Slide cutting will enable you to create small channels and take away extra weight and create again more texture. Work the slide cutting method through the front area of the haircut, locking the scissors and sliding through the mid-length and ends. Separation is the key to why you would be using this particular cutting method. Maintain maximum length through the fringe, but just remove some of the bulk. Slice cut out again to maintain texture and separation. Moving on to the drying process, use the hairdryer on a medium heat but a fast full power. This will help to create lift and texture whilst you're drying it. Whilst you're drying the haircut, it's an opportunity for you to be checking the balance, ensure that you are happy with the length and making sure that you are happy with the overall control. Power dry, this way you will get lots of lift into the roots and lots of volume to create that textured effect. Pick up, blast around, position the hair where you would like it to be. Visually keep checking the actual effect, but power drying is the key. Be firm with your fingers and make sure that you're lifting and placing the hair into the direction that the haircut needs to be. Using a palm friction motion will help to introduce much more lift in areas you require it. For this particular haircut, the back of the crown and the back of the head. Fully dry the haircut and mould it into the position you would like it to be. To create separation and strength throughout the haircut, we're going to be using some straightening irons. Grab chunks of hair, run the irons through. This will help the hair to stand away from the head, controlling it and lifting it to create that much needed texture and separation. Keep positioning the hair to the method that you would require, and use the irons to create that strength through the desired effect. Product will be a key influence to how this haircut will be finished. We are using a powder. This will help to create a matte textured effect and give it much needed support. Gently apply the product into the chosen areas and then work your fingers in, creating much more lift and volume. Finishing spray will just help to complement the finished look and control the direction of the style that you've created. Position, using your fingers, spray and lock the style into its position you require. A rounded, choppy, textured haircut, creating separation and softness with a multiple of different cutting techniques.